Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to be reviewing Blackstar Renegades by Michael Moreci. It is a science fiction book that I wouldn't quite call young adult, but I wouldn't quite call it adult. It's more like clean adult. Things that are sad happen in the book, but there's nothing like as far as language or sex or bloody graphic things. The protagonists are in their early 20s, so they're not exactly teenagers, which is why I wouldn't call it young adult fiction, but it's not especially dark or profanity laden like adult fiction tends to be. If I were to describe this book, I'd call it a book that's set in a Star Wars-ish universe with a hint of Ruby from Rooster Teeth. And then there's just a light dusting of Lord of the Rings type stuff going on. In this book, you have two protagonists. You have Cade and you have Tristan. Tristan is the older brother. Cade is the younger brother. Tristan is a good strategist and he is willing to get the job done. He's very bold. Cade is a little bit more insecure, but he is a phenomenal liar. He knows how to play the part, and he knows how to make sure that people get along, by the end of the book anyway. This book is set in a universe far, far away, not so quite a long time ago, but very far in the future. And Tristan and Cade are orphans. Something awful happened to their parents, and they live in the scummy rust bucket of the galaxy. One day they decide to sneak out of the orphanage to go do something, whatever 8 and 10-year-olds like to do, get up into trouble. And they get cornered by one of the rival gangs. They get cornered, and just as they're about to get really beat up, somebody named Sir Jorkin shows up and says, "Hey, these boys belong to me." And when that understandably doesn't go too well, he beats up the people that have Cade and Tristan cornered and says, "One of you two is destined to save the galaxy." From there, the story flash forwards 10 years, and Cade and Tristan have been sent to this planet where there is a special weapon. This weapon was owned by somebody that brought peace to the galaxy 10,000 years ago. Story has it, this person went and meditated for a super long time, and this weapon just appeared. They took the weapon, they scared the great evil of the galaxy, and peace reigned for a while. After about 50 years, it's not very clear, the person says, "Hey, I'm just kind of done with mortal life, so I'm going to take this weapon back to the spot where I meditated, and I'm going to put it in this stasis field of sorts. Anybody who is the chosen one, or as they call the Paragon, they get to come and try to retrieve the weapon. If the weapon deems them worthy, they can pull it out and then go tackle whatever great evil there is out there. If they're not worthy, then the weapon just straight up won't budge." Well, Cade and Tristan go up the spire, and it doesn't quite go to plan. And, well, Cade and Tristan go up this tower, they call it a spire in the book, and as soon as Cade touches the weapon, it sets off a chain reaction of insecurities in him. He realizes that he's been second fiddle, and he's been left out, and he doesn't really belong in the well. Oh, the well, by the way, those are basically the Jedi of the universe. Those are the people that Sir Jorkin belongs to. He has these thoughts, he has these feelings, and Tristan grabs the weapon. Tristan is, of course, the Paragon. And Tristan grabs the weapon, and when they go down the spire, Cade is like, "Okay, what am I gonna do now?" A series of chain reactions go off, and the galaxy ends up being saved. But oh boy, is it a different galaxy. What I liked about this book is Cade. He, at the start of the book, lets everybody just walk all over him and talk down to him. He eventually meets up with this girl named Kira. And Kira all along the way is telling him, you are not who the well wants you to be. You don't have to be who the well wants you to be. You don't have to let people talk down to you. You don't have to fit into the box that other people are trying to put you in. It's a very empowering message that she tries to give him. Very like undoing the conditioning that someone has tried to put on him to make him feel like he's not good enough. And that he is not capable of choosing his own destiny and choosing what he wants to do with his life. I love her. It's also revealed that she has been trying to live out this message all along, because where she comes from is not exactly a good place, and she has had a chip on her shoulder because of that not so good place that she was in. She has a bit of a theme of being a loose cannon, according to the well, but she's had this plan to save the galaxy, and because of that loose cannon thing, the well is like, no, we don't think your plan's valid. One of the things that the author really took to heart was the maxim that let your characters fall into misfortune on accident, but make them work their way out. Oh yeah, he definitely did that in this book. There is a few unfortunate accidents that happen. Things pop up that there's no way Cade could have known about. There's no way Tristan could have known about, but they work really, really hard to fix it. I really respect that the author put in this magical weapon that can solve any problem, that can do anything, but they don't use it. Now, there are reasons they don't use it. There's like some balance to it, but the magical weapon is not what gets them out of the problem. And that just, mad respect, author, that you didn't fall into that trap. That's what makes interesting stories. When you have to work your way out of something that wasn't your fault to begin with, because that's how life works in the real world. Like, we fall into accidents all the time. Bad stuff happens that we didn't even ask for. We didn't do anything to deserve it, but it happens, and we got to pull ourselves out. I love it when people do that in books, because it's modeling the way forward for a lot of people that awful stuff happens. It's a good lesson, and I am so very glad the author did this, that they chose to write their book in that way. Made the whole balancing out of the chosen one thing much more palatable. What I didn't like this book, well, there was something I didn't like about this book, and don't shoot me, but I'm not really a Star Wars fan. I'm not really a fan of the whole, you're the chosen one, save the galaxy. I like the way the author did it in this book. I like the way that that path was explored. It was different from the typical chosen one formula. But it's just not me. There's nothing in this book that I could see would trigger somebody. So feel free to read it and just have a good time with it. Overall, I'd give this story 5 out of 5 stars because it was enjoyable, and I found myself just turning page after page to enjoy what was going on. The bad guy, her name is Gahal. Jahal? The bad guy. Her name is Gahal, and she was so relatable. Like, she has a ship, and this ship can suck the power out of stars. These stars, when the power is sucked out, it pretty much drains the life on the planet because, come on, think about it. You have a star that's perfectly calibrated, and the planet is the perfect distance away from the star for life to exist. And when she sucks the power out of it, it dims a bit, and the whole world just goes kablooey because it's no longer in balance. She needs this because once upon a time, her planet was in danger because the star was going out, and she had the idea that she was gonna go ahead and suck the power from this star, feed it into her star, and her planet would be saved. Very relatable motivation, but as we know, power corrupts, and boy oh boy does she get corrupted. Not entirely because of power, but I can't go into much more about that. But this girl, this woman, is relatable beyond belief. Like, her motivations are solid, her logic is solid, but she's crazy. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense for someone's logic to be solid and their motivation to be solid, but they're downright crazy. It's a balance that you're just going to have to read the book to find out what I mean about that. So like I said, give this book a read. It was good. It was enjoyable. I'm not a Star Wars fan, but it was enjoyable. I have a link in the description if you want to buy it. If you don't, that's fine. I hope you all have a good weekend, good day. Thank you guys for joining me for this book review today. Thank you so much for listening in as always, and I will see you next time. Bye.